আমরা দেশের বিশিষ্ট বিজ্ঞানী ডক্টর তোমাল্লতা আদিত্য ধান গবেষণা এবং খাদ্য নিরাপত্তায় যার অশেষ অবদান রয়েছে, তার এই অকাল মৃত্যুতে শোক প্রকাশ করছি। এবং আমরা আজকে তোমার বায়োফিল্ম নিয়ে কথা বলবো। তোমাদের অনেক চ্যাপ্টারই পড়ানো হয়েছে। আমার মনে হয় কুইজ এবং মিড টার্ম এক্সাম আগামী সপ্তাহে থেকে নেওয়া দরকার। তোমরা সবাই ভালো আছো?
জি স্যার, আলহামদুলিল্লাহ স্যার, আছি ভালো।
জি স্যার, ভালো আছি।
ফাতেমা,
জি স্যার। জি
ভালো আছো তুমি?
জি স্যার।
ভাইয়া পার্টিসিপেট করতে পারবে না, তার ইন্টারভিউ আছে এনএসটি তে। Anyway, let us start our lecture on biofilm. Today we shall discuss on biofilm and biofilm technologies, which is very interesting topic for environmental biotechnologist. And biofilm is practically being used, and the interesting point is, in case of bacteria, they make biofilm, and 99% of the bacteria they remain as biofilm in nature. Now, question is, what is a biofilm, and how the biofilms are formed? They are well spread in the nature, self-organizing formation consisted of spontaneously fixed cells of microorganisms, plants, or animals on carriers, and produced by themselves substances, that means EPS, exopolysaccharides, DNA, and precipitated salts to form the biofilm. Inclusions of nano and microparticles in their structure, circulating free cells in their structure. In your teeth, every day you are brushing your teeth. Why? To destroy the biofilm of harmful bacteria. So biofilm in our teeth or pathogen causing diseases are harmful. Those biofilms are harmful for us. They are called negative biofilm. So biofilm bacteria colonize on the teeth, use exopolysaccharide to make their nest strongly and tightly adhere to the teeth, and then they use different acid and other substances, enzyme, to digest the teeth. We ultimately get the dental caries. So if every day twice you do brushing, there would be no chance for biofilm. But if you are a lazy, then very quickly you will see your teeth will be decayed by the bacteria. You cannot see the bacteria, but anyway, toothpaste, they are antibacterial and can clean the biofilm. But biofilm is multi-layered, not so easy to completely remove. In case of pathogenic bacteria and other microorganisms in our guts and other parts of the body where they infect, they make the biofilm. Several layers, fine layers of the cells. And this is why we need to take antibiotic you know, several doses and for courses for several days, because if you take only one antibiotic, it may kill the upper surface one, and gradually, as biofilm is highly structured, so penetration of antimicrobial substances takes time. This is why you need to take the full dose and full course of antibiotics. You may be afraid of knowing that biofilm is negative, but in the world, 99% or uh, most of the biofilms are positive. They are helpful for the environment. They are helpful for the human being also, because all environmental microorganisms, they are involved in geochemical nutrient cycle. New geochemical nutrient cycling, including nitrogen cycle, sulfur cycle, phosphorus cycle, or all are governed by biofilm forming bacteria. They decompose rocks, minerals, as well as you know biomasses to release the nutrient, and recycling is taken place. Soil formation on the earth's surface, obviously due to the activity of microorganisms, and they mostly remain as biofilm. In aquatic body, for example, lake, pond, or the ocean, only 1% bacteria, for example, remain as planktonic phase, not biofilm. 99% are in biofilm. These are some fundamental, uh, you know, information for you. How can we define biofilm? Microorganisms attached to a surface is a biofilm, or a layer of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells anchored to substratum surface and embedded in an organic matrix of biological origin is called biofilm. And this definition was given by Wilderer and Characles in 1989. First scientific description of biofilm was given in 1936, and first recognition of their ubiquity in 1970s. Scientists thorough research, they confirmed that biofilm is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means it is in everywhere. 0.1% aquatic microbes are in planktonic phase and rest in biofilm. What are the advantages or fitness of bacteria by forming the biofilm? Important competitive advantage of bacteria in biofilm over growing in suspension. Bacteria in suspension can be washed away. This is number one, because otherwise there is a chance of washed away with water, splash or others, with water flow. But bacteria in biofilms are protected from washout and can grow in locations where their food supply remains abundant. Now, uh, you may ask question, why biofilm is associated with food supply? Because the colony or house or the biofilm is formed mostly on the surface of a substrate which is rich in nutrient of the bacteria, so that they can get nutrient in their house. Microbial activity in biofilms can modify the internal environment to make the biofilm more hospitable than the bulk liquid. This is another advantage of biofilm for the biofilm forming organism. What are the impacts of biofilm? Biofilm has lots of impact in nature. Biofilm in ecosystem has positive role in acceleration of natural cycles of biogenic elements like carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, oxygen. These elements, they are cycling in nature. For example, nitrogen cycle. Biofilm in higher organisms like plants, animals, and humans, there are some controversial roles. First, negative. For example, dental plaques. Dental plaques, dental plaques is really negative because we need to spare huge time to care our teeth, and also huge money is also involved there. So every day we have to clean our teeth or brush our teeth uh, to avoid the dental plague by the bacteria. Disease prolongation. For example, Helicobacter pylori, one of the dangerous bacteria which colonize on the surface of intestine, and they produce different acid and other toxic substances which can result in ulcer, or even in the worst case, the cancer. So Helicobacter pylori infection, if someone carries Helicobacter pylori infections in the intestine, they often suffer from gastritis, and even stomach pain, even bleeding, and ultimately can result in a cancer. This is why it is better to test in every adult human is needed to test whether they are Helicobacter pylori positive or not, because there are some tests even in Bangladesh. You can check your blood and you can understand whether are carrying Helicobacter pylori in the intestine or not. And if it is, then there is a package of medicine, cocktail of antibiotics. You can clean it. Positive, actually, positive impacts of biofilm on plants, animals, and humans are robust. Acceleration of digestion process in the organism. So all organisms, especially mammals, uh, digestion processes are accelerated by the biofilm forming beneficial microorganisms in the intestine. And in case of plants, biofilm forming bacteria, fungi, and other organisms, they actually, dissolve the organic and inorganic nutrients present in the soil and make them ionic form so that plant can uptake the essential nutrient elements. That means without microorganism, plant has no ability to digest all the nutrients they need in the soil. Some plants have a slight ability to release some organic acid to dissolve phosphorus and some other nutrient elements, but plant cannot digest or cook all the organic and inorganic insoluble materials to uptake the nutrient. So animals, humans, plants, all organisms are actually interconnected and interrelated, interdependent, And biofilm process is one of the way not only to provide the nutrient, but also biofilm forming microorganism help especially the prokaryotic microorganisms help the eukaryotes to enhance the immunity and protect from the disease causing uh, pathogens. A biofilm in artificial system also can play negative and positive role. For example, negative role in all the structures we can see around us, metallic structure, non-metallic structure, microorganisms, they form biofilm on the surface. In case of metal, biocorrosion, decreasing of working characteristics of equipment and apparatus, water transport, uh, decrease of the transport equipment speed, heat exchangers, decrease of heat transfer coefficient, artificial organs, nanomembranes, they can form plug. So biofilm really damage human-made lots of structure. Even Suarez line, if you see within few years, microorganisms, algae, bacteria, different microorganisms inside the pipe, Suarez pipe, they form thick layer and block the Suarez system. Our even furnitures, all the structures, you see within few years they become faded and destroyed. We need to take care because of uh, you know, damage caused by the biofilm forming microorganisms that we cannot see, especially bacteria, archaea, you cannot see, but they are very damaging. Uh, Positive role, biofilm reactors, metal leaching acceleration. So human can use these properties for their own benefit. For example, some of the uh, microorganisms like bacteria, nowadays they are being impregnated or biofilm artificially formed on the surface of you know pipes or some metallic substances that we use for the building and other uses, uh, and those microorganisms are chosen in a way, and they are unusually slow growing but very powerful antimicrobial or anti-fouling. That means no other organism can grow except the organism you added as biofilm. So you can uh, enhance the longevity of your product. Metal leaching acceleration can be done by using biofilm forming microorganism. Biofilm forming microorganism, for example, as biofertilizer, biopesticide, uh, uh, those organisms can form biofilm. You can use them as probiotic, as a biopesticide or biofertilizer or biostimulant. And some of the biofilm forming bacteria like bifidobacteria or lactobacillus, they are commercially available as probiotic tablet or capsule. So as human, we can take to enhance our digestion and immunity. So lots of use are now available in biofilm process. So biofilm process using the beneficial microorganisms, we can promote the recycling of uh, useful materials, recycling of biomass, and recycling of wastewater and many other things. So biofilm, the impacts of biofilm and industrial prospects are very high. Biofilm technologies, biofilm as bioagents or biocatalyst in biofilm reactors, in environmental protection, wastewater treatment, tail gas purification, potable water conditioning, biodenitrification, biometallurgy, metal leaching, bioactive substance production. That means enzyme production, different industrially important enzyme production, as well as production of different antibiotics or other bioactive substances, biofilm forming microorganisms like bacteria are being used industrially in the big fermenter. Protecting technologies, also preserving and uh, permissible, uh, permissible to avoid the biofilm formation, biocorrosion of metal and dental plaques. Uh, so if we know the biofilm, then we can avoid them. To destroy biofilms in artificial system like in potable water supplying system, in healthcare artificial organs without biofilm, water transport equipment protection, nanomembranes without biofilm. So nowadays, nanotechnologies, nanofilms, antimicrobial nanofilms on the surface of the different uh, metallic and non-metallic plastic polymeric equipments are being used so that they can be anti-fouling or repelling to the biofilm forming microorganisms, so you can avoid the decay or damage of the equipment or other materials. Even in the biotechnology laboratory, lots of microorganisms can grow, even your PCR machine and other machines, and they are the uh, one of the important factor for affecting the efficiency, even the working ability of the equipment. So already I discussed lots of things on biofilm. Uh, there are difference between biofilm technology and nanotechnology. Perhaps you know that what are nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is a new branch of science in our national agriculture policy. Nanotechnology is considered one of the important technologies for promoting crop production and ensuring food security. Nanotechnology means technologies developed based on the particles which that are in a size of 1 to 100 nanometer in dimension. So any molecules or materials, if you make them nano size, that is 1 to 100 nanometer, depending on the size, you can find huge, uh, variation in their physical and chemical properties. And that properties are useful for industrial application. In electronics, all the, electronic chips, and in electronic industry, even your CD, they are nano materials are being used. Even talcum powder, silver nanoparticles are used. Cosmetics, even antimicrobial spray. So nanotechnologies are becoming very popular in life science also. Now the question is, what are the differences between biofilm technologies and nanotechnologies? The similarities, they are coming into being due to amalgamation of physical, chemical, and physicochemical properties. That means biological phenomena accepted as summarizing notion of spontaneous fixation. Mechanism of biofilm formation are similar to those of thin layers formation in nanotechnology. uh, you know, uh, Here is the similarities. But in addition, they have all the pluses and minuses of their biological character due to the cells. Because in case of nanotechnologies, we use non-living substances. In case of biofilm, we use living substances. So in case of living substances, they release enzyme, they have life, they can die if the supply of nutrients are replenished, but nanotechnology, it never happens. And in case of biofilm, size is also a big factor. A biofilm is actually uh, micrometer in size, but nanofilm is nanometer in size. Diffusion character of structure of biofilm in the terms of system approach is available. But in case of nanofilm, diffusion is actually they cannot move and depending on the properties. Some biosystems of biofilm large systems are consisted of macromolecules with nano characteristics. Yes, when biofilm is formed, exopolysaccharide, they are actually nanomolecules. So in the biofilm, biofilm forming microorganism sometimes produce and release nanomaterials like exopolysaccharides, enzymes, non-stoichiometric compound, nucleic acid, DNA, RNA. DNA, RNA is, nanomaterial, natural nanomaterial because DNA double helical structure, uh, the diameter is about 2 nanometer or parts of the cell organelles present in the bacterial cell, they are nanomaterial. So there are some similarities, there are some differences also. The size of the participants of biofilm in case of microbial cells and moreover cells of higher organisms, plants, animals are bigger than the characteristics parameter of subjects of nanotechnologies. Nanotechnology always in nano size, but biofilm, uh, they are larger than the nano size. They are micro to even millimeter in size. In case of plants and animals, they are bigger size. Self-organizing character of biofilms as large system. Biofilm can self-organize because bacteria can communicate with each other by using quorum sensing and other signal exchanging. But nanomaterials, they are they have no DNA and they cannot use own intelligent trait based on the gene coding and others and cannot self-organize. The way you apply, they will remain as it is. Complicated self-created structure of biofilm. Biofilm structure is very complicated. Depending on the environment, their structure also varied, availability of the nutrient and others. So not like nanomaterials, you can make nanofilm as you desire and using appropriate nanomaterials. Living matter in processing system, necessity of intervene into processes of self-organization. So these are the differences between nanotechnology and biofilm technology. So today I would like to stop here, and if you have any question, we shall discuss a little more.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
Sir, does the biofilm protect the bacteria against antibiotics? Or the biofilm has any mechanism against antibiotics?
Biofilm, uh, can be formed by using any microorganisms. But you mentioned that whether they have antiviral principle or protect the human or other organisms from the virus attack or not. For
Yes,
example,
sir.
virus, they cannot replicate themselves. They usually, use the host for uh, replicating their particle, either DNA or RNA. Virus can be DNA virus or RNA virus. So they have the mechanism to enter into the host tissue and hijack the transcription and translation mechanism. But all organism has some defense mechanism to protect the attack from the virus. For example, human. Some human, you see, the COVID-19 cannot, cause severe problems. Some cases, they are lethal. So immunity is a very important factor, and there are lots of, macromolecules, antibody, and other macromolecules are involved um, uh, in the cell. They synthesize as the defense weapons to stop the uh, viral infection. In case of all organisms, they have the mechanism. For example, in case of bacteria, they have the CRISPR-Cas system to defend the attack by the virus. In case of human, when your probiotic system is very strong, biofilm is formed very nicely in the gut layers, then a virus particle cannot penetrate and you are protected. Moreover, the colonization and formation of biofilm also enhance the immune system of the host. So this is another mechanism to protect you from the infection by the virus. And I'm not sure 100%, I didn't see any literature that the biofilm forming bacteria can produce antiviral uh, substances, but it is possible. In some cases, they use chemical weapons that can stop the replication of RNA or DNA as inhibitor enzyme and other making the cross link with or damage the DNA RNA particle in the virus. In virus, DNA and RNA particle are coated with multiple layers of protein. So protein uh, and the antiviral molecules, if they bind and if there is an affinity to bind with the surface protein of virus and the uh, molecules produced by the uh, biofilm forming organism, if they can bind and have high affinity, then it can stop the viral, proliferation, because virus then cannot enter into the host tissue and they will be, stuck. So there is a chance if someone has a very good, probiotic uh, system in their body, uh, their immunity is surely higher than those who have poor probiotic system in their body. For example, in USA, it has been now proved that obese person uh, has poor, probiotic community in their body, and this is why their digestive system is defective and they become obese. Um, and transplantation of intestinal material from non-obese to obese uh, for several times have been found very effective for treating the obese patient and become normal. And it has been published in a very big journal, Science. So that means you are changing the probiotic organisms that form the biofilm, and they are very useful. Thank you. Any more question?
Sir, Assalamu alaikum.
Jinan?
Sir, can biofilms go uncontrolled sometimes, and what will be the necessary measures in that case to control it for our beneficial uses? I mean, how can we nourish or harbor it for the beneficial use purpose, sir?
A good question. A biofilm, not like nanofilm, because biofilm forming organisms are living. They need a hospitable environment. That means enough nutrition and ambient condition, environmental condition, pH, temperature, light, and other things. So if they do not get such an environment, biofilm, they even destroy the biofilm to move other places. So to get the highest benefit of the biofilm, you have to understand the biology of the organism, their biofilm forming mechanism and conditions for forming the better biofilm. Then to ensure all the conditions, then you can utilize them for your own benefit. And for example, in case of plant nutrition, if a bacterium can solubilize organic phosphorus from the organic matter, but you applied in a crop plant, and if there is no organic matter in the soil, you cannot get the benefit from it. It cannot form the biofilm on the surface of the organic particles. So you have to ensure the preconditions to get the highest benefit. For example, for making the bioactive natural products, uh, we must study the microorganism which substrate, that means nutrient, it loves most for making your target compound, and which condition, temperature, pressure, is important for triggering the higher expression of that gene involved in biosynthesis of your desired bioactive compound. So if you can ensure all the things, then you can ensure the benefit uh, from the biofilm in industrial process.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Any other?
Sir.
Fatima? Kanish Fatima, what is your question?
Yes.
Your internet
Sir.
probably unstable. Yes, please tell us.
Sir, is it possible to
Is it possible to what? Yes, she is out. Anyway, Rahat, do you have any question?
Sir, how biofilms are produced or formed?
There are, I shall show you later on how biofilm is produced. There are 7 major steps how biofilm is produced. And biofilm also naturally produced following a step-by-step process. Have you seen ever how a bee hive is developed, or wasp hive is developed? Have you seen?
Sir,
Wasp,
Yes, sir.
they make the hive. First one colony, and then gradually make the big, structure of their house. Biofilm is like that. Step by step, they form multiple layers of the cells, and in the basement, some inactive cells, and on the surface, the active cells. So biofilm is a step-by-step process, but can be happen quickly in case of bacteria, because bacteria can proliferate very fast. And if you offer a condition suitable for biofilm formation, then you can facilitate biofilm formation. And the quorum sensing, have you heard about quorum sensing? Quorum, quorum sensing. In bacteria can talk with each other. So they use chemical signal, chemical language, isohomoserine lactone. Homoserine lactones, small molecules, they secrete to talk with each other. If there is a good source of food and good environment, then bacteria exchange the signal to go for rapid multiplication, to make their population more, because food and environment is good. But in harsh environment, they break down the biofilm and move away from that place. So in all cases, bacteria talk with each other, community member, by using chemical signal. And the process is called quorum sensing. Clear? Fatima, can you hear us now?
Sir,
Yes.
yes, sir. So today I am facing a serious internet problem.
What is your
Did you hear
question
my
now?
question? Sir, my question was, is it possible to form biofilms on the surface of our internal body parts, like on our in our intestine or our lungs?
A good question. Yes, biofilm, your internal uh, guts, biofilm already there. But you can enhance the biofilm, some of the biofilm. For example, if you take high doses of antibiotic to treat some infectious disease, in that case, not only pathogens are killed, but also your beneficial biofilm forming, microorganisms are also killed. Although they, revive quickly, but in case of, in that time, just after antibiotic, if you take, bifidobacteria, lactobacillus capsule as probiotic, you can enhance the biofilm in your gut. Uh, and you can add the externally, exogenously, you can add the microorganism for making the biofilm. And other thing is that what you can do, you can offer the food for them. The food we are eating for our nutrition, not so good for their own nutrition. They love to eat polysaccharide, which we cannot digest. So in that case, in Japanese big party, if you go, posh, in posh restaurant, they will give you very fine noodle-like, substances, which are basically, long and hyper-branched polysaccharide. If you take, the taste is like noodle, no taste almost. So Japanese people take those materials for their probiotics. They are basically uh, 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 long fibrous compounds. So in our case also, if you take vegetables, enough vegetables, fruits, they contain high amount of even red rice, or red bread, whole grain of bread, then you can add some polysaccharide for your intestinal gut microflora, and they can be happy and form stronger biofilm, help you to stay in sound health. So there are some ways. Your food habit is very, very important. Never take only one or two types of food that only you like. You have to consider the intestinal microflora. This is why it is suggested to take enough salad, enough vegetables to keep you healthy, because they contain lots of fiber, and those fibers are polysaccharide, and polysaccharides are good for the health of the your uh, gut microflora. Any other question?
You, sir.
If no question, I shall stop here. And thank you very much for attending this lecture. And please stay safe and in sound health. And obviously maintain the rules for protecting yourself from the COVID-19. Yesterday, one SRDI scientist was died of COVID-19. Very unfortunate. He was much junior to me, young man, and very good scientist. So COVID-19 still active and deadly. So please take care. Thank you very much.